Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the next in a series of lunchtime lockdown lectures that the GSSA is putting on. This afternoon, we have Tania Marshall, who is the Vice President of Professional Affairs inside the Geological Society of South Africa. She's going to talk about professional affairs in general and in the GSSA. Tania is a well-known consultant based in Johannesburg. She works pretty much all over Southern Africa. She got her PhD from Wits in 1990, I believe.
That's
and
correct.
worked a while in the gold mines and is probably best known for her work on alluvial diamonds. Tania, with that short introduction, I'll let you take over. Just a bit of housekeeping. Please keep your microphones muted and your videos off, and there'll be chances for interaction and question and answers after the presentation. So Tania, take it away.
Thank you, Craig. So, professional affairs. For those of you who attended Sifiso's talk a week or so ago, you'll remember this diagram, and it shows here the 8 different portfolio committees that the GSSA has. And the one that we'll be looking at today is this one, the professional affairs. Now, before we go any further, I just need to highlight that many of the things that professional affairs does is done in conjunction with one or more of the other portfolios. There's quite a bit of overlap in many activities, and that requires input from multiple individuals. And you can see this by looking at the people who are involved in this committee. It's the VP, the president of the society, as well as the executive manager. And also we often use other people as well, such as you can see here. And these folks are all added on or co-opted as and when necessary. I'd like you to take note of this quotation from Professor Steve Sonnenberg. And it's as true today as it was almost 20 years ago. We as geologists do not generally think of ourselves as professionals, and certainly not in the same way that doctors and lawyers do. And that is a career handicap. And so the professional affairs portfolio has been developed to help with that. So the portfolio serves to advance, promote, and protect the professional status of GSSA members. And we do that by identifying what it is that professionals need, and then ensuring that those things are covered. And we do this through various interventions which are highlighted here. And what we'll do now is go through some of these, and you can see what we do and how we do it. One of the primary ways in which the GSSA supports professionalism within its members is through representation on the SACNASP Council. The GSSA is the voluntary association that represents geologists, earth scientists, and hydrogeologists at SACNASP. And we do this through representation on the SACNASP Council. We have a member on the applications committee, and we have various liaisons with the CPD and candid mentoring programs. In terms of the SACNASP Act, all practicing geoscientists must be registered, not only the consultants. And a particularly telling statistic is that less than 50% of our members are registered, and those that are typically in the applied fields. The number of registrants employed in state and academic institutions is growing each year, however, it is still very low. And so what we also do is work along with SACNASP to encourage statutory registration, and also to see how SACNASP can provide you more bang for your buck. The second of the fundamental building blocks of professionalism is the codes and standards of behaviors of individuals. The basis of all of this is general ethics, and this is the age-old study of good versus evil, right versus wrong, Thor versus Loki, Luke Skywalker versus Darth Vader. You get the point. Out of this grew the more applicable field of geoethics, with its roots in the academic community. Simply put, Geoethics deals with principles based on general ethics statements and highlights the roles and responsibilities of geoscientists in conducting their activities. These principles are not enforceable, but they're rather based on the concept that geoscientists will apply them because it's the right thing to do. Yeah, right. Enter the world of professional ethics. These codes are based on the principles espoused in geoethics statements and are typically comprised of the Code of Ethics, Codes of Conduct, and Codes of Practice. And these are generally backed up by a robust complaints and disciplinary procedure. The GSSA has a Code of Ethics, and a note to remember that simply by being a member of the GSSA means that you agree to abide by this code and be subject to them. I would recommend that everyone download it from the website. You'll find it in the Constitution and bylaws, and read through them from time to time. There should be plenty of time in the next month or so. But here are the first 5 and the rest of them. In addition to the Code of Ethics, there are various norms and behaviors that are expected of professional geoscientists, such as those mentioned here. How do we cope with undue influence, insider trading, research integrity, plagiarism and copyright infringements, harassment and discrimination, mentoring, geovandalism, dress codes and time management. What's important to note is that these are applicable to both academic and applied geoscientists. An extension of the Code of Ethics is the complaints procedure, where if anyone has reason to believe that you as a GSSA member are not living up to the Code of Ethics, they may put in a formal complaint. Note, this is not a whinge or a personal preference. It refers to serious breaches of the Code of Ethics or of professional behaviors. And any such complaint must be in the form of a written affidavit with supporting documentation. Most of the complaints cases are handled internally by 2 separate committees, the Complaints and the Ethics Committee. And only in serious cases are these passed on to either SACNASP or potentially even to the judicial system. Now, the purpose of the complaints process is to self-regulate members and also the profession. The objective is to improve behaviors, especially when the breaches are without dishonesty, intent, repetition, or reckless incompetence. There are many situations that arise from day to day, but they don't require a formal complaint. And there are so many ways to do this, of assisting our peers before the situation gets out of hand. I'd like to highlight some of the formal complaints that have been dealt with by the GSSA over the past 10 years. As you can see, a number of issues of plagiarism. By far the majority of the complaints have been received in respect of resource reporting or non-compliance with the SAMCODE. There have been some examples of unprofessional conduct, which have gone from the Complaints Committee all the way through to the Ethics Committee. And there has even been a case of criminal conduct dealt with in the Ethics Committee. However, quite frankly, I think this dude had far more important issues to worry about. He'd been accused of murdering his wife. The SAMCODE is one of the codes of practice that is fundamental to the minerals industry. In fact, they're so important that they are written into the GSSA Code of Ethics, such that complying with the basic principles, definitions, and terminologies are obligatory for all GSSA members. The GSSA is one of the 2 patrons of the SAMCODE, along with the SAIMM. We co-fund all its activities, including training of competent persons, promotion of the codes, and membership at CRISCO and SAMVAL. With respect to leadership within the SAC, the GSSA elects the chair of the committee for 2 years alternating with the SAIMM. In addition, the GSSA also has a permanent representative sitting on the committee. And one of the important points for our members to note is that this is where reciprocity with other jurisdictions are maintained. And this enables CPs to sign off reports under the recognized professional organization arrangement, the RPO arrangement. The GSSA also has a system of continuing professional development, which is both geoscience specific and also benchmarked against other international systems, which means it's specifically applicable to members employed in our industry and takes cognizance of all the issues that we as geoscientists face. We have a formalized website portal for the logging of CPD credits under 4 different categories. We also have regular training sessions on what activities constitute approved CPD activities for both GSSA and SACNASP, and also how to log the points on both systems. In order to keep abreast with international developments, we are members of various international geoscience and geoethics associations. And the one I want to highlight particularly is the IPG. The GSSA was part of the team that compiled the Cape Town Statement of Geoethics at the IGC a couple of years ago. In addition to these, we have many other formal and informal associations with different geological societies, geological surveys, statutory bodies, professional bodies, learned organizations at an international, regional, and local level. We note that many GSSA members engage in mentoring, coaching, and tutoring activities, and some do this within formal structures associated with large companies or universities. Some do it within junior organizations and consultancies, or some of the more formal programs that are out there. And we commend our members for doing that because we know it does take time and effort. Under the GSSA banner, we are in the process of developing a formal mentoring program, and the first year is being trialed in cooperation with SACNASP, the SACNASP candidate program. And towards the end of April, we're going to be sending out a call for potential members, mentors, in the April newsletter. Please keep an eye out for that. So in summary then, the professional affairs portfolio is there to advance, promote, and protect the professional status of GSSA members by identifying what it is that professional members need, both locally and internationally, and also that these things are in place and that our members can access them easily. We also support the 3 pillars of professionalism in geoscience, namely registration, continuing professional development, and professional conduct and ethical behaviors. So if there's anything that you as a member feel that we can do to assist in any of these issues, or in fact in any other professional issues that you may come across, please do feel free to contact us directly. I'll take any questions if there are any. Thank you.
Thank you, Tania. If there are questions or comments or any discussion, now's the time to talk about professional affairs with the Professional Affairs Vice President. You can unmute your mics. I don't see any hands up. Tania, you've befuddled everybody. Well, you know how to contact us, and if there's any question that
comes to mind in the foreseeable future, please don't hesitate to contact us.
The key documents, which are the Code of Ethics and the GSSA Constitution and bylaws. The Code of Ethics includes the disciplinary procedures. Those are lodged on the website and you can have a look at them. It's worthwhile doing so.
And also in addition to that, we have been hosting a series of GeoBulletin articles over the last year or so dealing with different aspects of professionalism and professional affairs. We go into some detail on the codes of ethics, the complaints and disciplinary procedures, and various other issues. Please haul out your old copies of GeoBulletin and have a look at them as well in the next coming weeks.
Okay, with that, I see no comments or queries. So I'll close the meeting now. Thank you, everybody, for attending. Please join us on Monday for Murray Hitzman, and I think he's at 3 o'clock on copper deposits in Ireland, I believe. Is that right, Tanya?
Yes, I think it is.
Thank you all for attending.
Thanks, Tania. Thanks, Craig.
Okay, I'm ending the meeting now.